Welcome to the Big Ten ACC Challenge presented by Dick's Sporting Goods as part of Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research on ESPN as we continue our commitment to the V Foundation and Jim Valvano's dream to defeat cancer. A packed house here at the John Paul Jones Arena in Charlottesville for the next chapter in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. The Wisconsin Badgers and the Virginia Cavaliers. The ACC with the upper hand so far, a 4-2 lead in the series after yesterday's game. The Big Ten has won it, though, 3 of the last 4 years. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick, Doris Burke. It's great to have you with us. Wisconsin is undefeated, 8th in the country. Virginia comes in at 7-1. All the experts think both of these teams are going to make a lot of noise this year.
The experts are probably right because these are two really well-coached basketball programs. Similar philosophies, similar value systems. But this is a rematch from a year ago, and the Wisconsin players told me earlier at shoot-around, Joe Harris and Virginia were physically tougher, mentally tougher, and beating them at home. They come in with a little bit of an agenda.
What's your one-on-one tonight?
Well, Bo Ryan's team has got more options offensively than he's had in the last couple of years. That's helped to get them out to this 8-0 start. They're playing a little bit faster. Virginia's history under Tony Bennett, well, they can upset a team or two in this building. Can they do it tonight?
Here are the lineups first for Wisconsin. Bo Ryan sends out a veteran starting 5, each one averaging in double figures. Sam Decker is an all-star candidate. For Virginia, they have become more talented under Tony Bennett. Balanced scoring, they're more athletic. Joe Harris, their senior leader, a returning first-team All-ACC performer. Jeff Goodman will work the sidelines for us tonight. Let's check in with Jeff right now.
Tony Bennett's team much deeper than it ever has been in his tenure. He can go 9, even 10 deep tonight. Wisconsin, they'll play 5 guys the majority of their time. They'll go heavy with their starters, and what they'll do is they'll push the ball. This isn't your typical Bo Ryan team. They can score the ball. It'll be a complete contrast of styles between these two teams tonight.
All right, Jeff, thanks so much. Look forward to your reports throughout the night. Wisconsin controls the opening tip, and this is Trayvon Jackson, the point guard, number 12. Keep in mind, there are some exceptional long-range shooters on this team. 4 players better than 43.5% from three-point range. That'll be a challenge for Virginia. On the shot clock on the opening possession, and the Virginia crowd appreciates the defense. Jackson, Kaminsky lost the ball. Virginia with a turnover after some great defense. Gill on the run, gives it up to Joe Harris. Tony Bennett couldn't have asked for a better start, Doris.
No, we'll talk and develop the pack line defense over the course of the night, but that's a pretty good stand off the initial look.
Akeel Mitchell with a power move with the left hand, but he missed. And Wisconsin back the other way. Jackson saw a gap, but it closed in a hurry out to Brust. Brust, a 43% long-range shooter. So Wisconsin, one of the best teams in the country from long range, 0 for 1. Harris open in the corner for 3.
Over the last several, that's a rare miss for him over the last several games. He's been 11 for 12 from 3. Harris, one of the best shooters in the country.
That qualifies as rare.
But you're right, Mike. There's your 7-footer inside. They put 4 guys around him who can shoot. This is a Wisconsin team that can get that pack line stretched out if they're not careful. And at the point guard spot with Trayvon Jackson, a guy who can penetrate and pitch. How often that happens will give Tony Bennett agita if it's too often.
Kaminsky has gone from averaging 4 points a game to almost 16 since last year. Nice drive there. The first 2 points from Malcolm Brogdon.
I like that young man.
He is tough. He's very powerful.
He is. He's a guard who can play multiple positions.
How come guards look like linebackers these days?
Yeah, they're bigger and stronger, aren't they?
Kaminsky fakes the 3. Believe it or not, he's a 48% long-range shooter. He can do it all. So can Decker, but he misses the jumper. Both teams cold to start. Harris, nice pass. Anthony Gill with his first bucket. They love his game. Transfer from South Carolina, sat out last year. He has skills that really help this club.
Yeah, he's got an ability to get inside, draw fouls. And this is, you know, it's interesting. Jeff Goodman talked a little bit about Wisconsin playing faster. Virginia's gotten out into transition and got some early offense.
Tony Bennett has always been willing to run if it's there. He just doesn't like to force it. Parantes down the lane. Young man out of Los Angeles who has some really good point guard skills. Harris with another miss from long range. Jackson pushing. Decker thought he had a good look inside. Kaminsky couldn't find him. Jackson having a tough time with that Cavalier defense.
Virginia's going to sit in the stance. They're going to put very good pressure on the ball.
Rust gets it back outside, 10 to shoot. Jackson almost lost the dribble. This defense has been incredible so far. Harris. Almost inviting a challenge as he laid it in.
You have got to love the activity and the energy. And this building is on fire right now.
Great start for the Cavaliers. Decker. Boy, just no penetration. You're going to force him to shoot outside and live or die with a three. Jackson finally gets inside. Cut off there. Back to Decker. And Decker is fouled as he goes to the bucket.
Yeah, nice cut in that instance by Sam Decker. But the Cavaliers' defense has been everything we expected. Getting down in the stance, pressuring the ball, taking advantage of the stakes. Joe Harris gets out in transition. Good start for Virginia.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. And in part by Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance.
I shudder to think where I would be, if I would be here right now, if 20 years ago the foundation hadn't been started. It all comes down to research, clinical trials, all the things that take place here, all that is possible through the generous donations. Any donation that is made is truly making a difference.
And Robin would know better than anybody after her courageous fight. Help us beat cancer. The V Foundation awards 100% of direct cash donations to fund cancer research. Operating expenses paid for by an endowment fund. Log on to www.jimmyv.org or call 1-800-4-JIMMY-V to donate.
Robin Roberts was my hero before she battled cancer. She's become more so, and I know she's ABC News now. Good Morning America. She'll always be part of the ESPN sports family.
We went almost 5 minutes without a foul call. Here is a push-off on Anthony Gill, and it looks like Decker took the brunt of that.
Yeah, it almost, he's reacting like he got the wind knocked out of him. He's like, I'm fine, but you can tell, you've been an athlete, you know what that feels like. Now, this has got to be a definitive charge. That's it. That's a very good call. Elbow was out, and I'm telling you this. To me, it's the toughest call in college basketball. It's become even tougher now, Mike, because you're asking these officials to determine the upward motion. I think it was the elbow. And are they going to go to the monitor now for this?
To see if it was any kind of a flagrant foul.
Exactly. I don't think so either. No, they're not. Okay, good.
This is a great officiating crew, by the way. Carl Hess, Mike Eads, and Brian Dorsey. Can't get any better.
No question.
And they said the players have adjusted well to the new rule. They have adjusted their game to not only the block charge call, but the hand checks and having to play defense the way you used to play defense.
Well, these are two teams that are always in the best in the country, not committing fouls, Mike. So I think their adjustment, because they're taught to play with their feet, has been minimal.
Yeah, they're both tied for 7th in the country for fewest fouls. Kaminsky with the follow. Kaminsky has 4 points. Duye Dukin is into the ballgame for the first time with Wisconsin. That was his miss that was cleaned up by Kaminsky. We're tied at 6. Brogdon got his own rebound. Good hustle. by Brogdon. Little weave outside. Running jump hook. Darion Atkins with his first action. The young man out of Clinton, Maryland, with a bucket. The lead is 2.
Atkins and Akil Mitchell, in addition to Joe Harris, played great on the road at the Kohl Center a year ago, a place that Bo Ryan has been notoriously tough, and Atkins off to a good start.
Doris, Virginia is as deep as I've ever seen it. There's a long-range jumper by Dukin, 3 points off the bench in a hurry.
No, there's no question. And they're deep, Virginia. They're more athletic. And for the first time maybe in Tony Bennett's career, he's got a point guard. Nice pass and good patience there by Akil Mitchell. Really nice job. But they also have a point guard in London Parantes who brings a dynamic that Tony Bennett hasn't had in his tenure here.
He is a true point guard out of Los Angeles, averaging 4 assists to 1 turnover. Great ratio to start the season. Runner by Jackson, his first 2. The lead is cut to 1.
I like Trayvon Jackson. His ability to get in the lane, drive and pitch, create opportunities for the guys around him. I'm sure he drives Bo crazy on occasion with some of his forays into the lane, but he's a dynamic they need with the shooters around him.
His dad, Jimmy, was a star at Ohio State and later in the NBA. There's a drive, basket, and a foul on top of it. Nice drive by Parantes again.
Yeah, 6'2", 189 pounds, splits the defense, doesn't have a great angle. That's a tougher shot than it looked like.
Bronson Koenig into the ball game. The freshman out of lacrosse picked up his first foul.
I love this young man. Boy, I'll watch this young guy play. Now, keep in mind, Koenig was recruited by virtually every big school. North Carolina, Kansas. You watch him play for 5 minutes of practice. This kid can play, Mike, and his minutes will only go up over the course of the year.
He was the state player of the year in Wisconsin. Tells you how deep Wisconsin is, that he doesn't get that many minutes, and how good that starting 5 is.
That's exactly right. Plus, Bo Ryan's system is sort of a generational one. If you've started in the past, it's going to take something pretty extraordinary to get you out of that starting lineup.
Koenig hands it off to Brust. Decker spins into the lane, double team, lean into it. Tip won't go, and the rebound to the big man for the Cavaliers. Mike Tobey, the sophomore, comes in off the bench. Best big man they've had in ages. Another spin by Parantes, but he has the ball rejected. Excellent defense by Nigel Hayes. Bo Ryan going for his 300th victory. He would be only the 9th Big Ten coach ever to get to that 300 mark.
If we were to tell you that Wisconsin was the winningest program in the Big Ten over the last 12 years,
isn't that something?
Yeah, you'd be surprised. I think most people would be surprised.
Atkins with a miss, couldn't get the rebound. They've never finished lower than the top 4, and they've always made the NCAA. That's a pretty good run there. Done it with a lot of class, too.
No doubt about it.
Dukin looks inside, but Virginia doing a pretty decent job of keeping people out of that lane, and they collapse on them when they do get inside. 6 on the shot clock. Dukin. It's going to be a shot clock violation. Timeout on the floor coming up. Virginia's vaunted pack line defense. Doris Burke takes the court to break down what makes it so very special. You don't want to miss this.
So what is Tony Bennett's pack line defense? We hear about it so often. To help his young men understand it, every practice they put this blue line on the floor, and in his words, that way his guys understand if anybody on the offensive end is in here, they're an intruder. So the principles are this: 1, transition defense. 2, you build a wall to the ball starting from right there at the blue line. You have to have activity on the ball. You have to have vision when you're off the ball. And everything is designed to prohibit penetration. The challenge against Wisconsin, their spacing and their shooters are excellent. Can they challenge shots and still rebound the ball?
Doris, that is beautifully explained. And how good is the Virginia defense? Third in the country, allowing only 53.5 points a game, and the opponents are shooting only 37% from the floor against them. And somehow, with packing that defense in, they still find a way to defend the threes.
It's with disciplined closeouts. Activity and ball pressure is crucial. His father is the guy who came up with the name. Obviously, Tony played for Dick Bennett, played for him at Wisconsin Green Bay, and remember, they get the name from Pack, like the Green Bay Packers.
2-on-2 and rejected by Justin Anderson, seeing his first action off the bench. The sophomore from Montrose, Virginia.
Well, I said the first principle is transition defense. Not an exceptional pass means that they don't have good floor balance. But I'll say this, when you've got the athlete like you have in Justin Anderson, he can erase some mistakes.
You bet.
Wow.
Be a foul away from the ball against the Cavaliers.
But I love Justin Anderson. This is a guy who was a starter to start the year. Should have pressed a little bit in that role. Since he's come off the bench, he's gotten back to what has made him so solid, using his athleticism, running the floor, making shots when they're open.
It's funny, Tony Bennett said he has really embraced that role. Some guys can do that mentally, some can't. It's fortunate for Virginia that he can.
That's correct. It takes a certain attitude and mentality to be productive off the bench.
Once again, Wisconsin having a tough time getting a good look. Decker with a miss. Decker, the worst of the starters from three-point range. He shoots 38%. They look very uncomfortable trying to shoot against that defense.
Well, they do, and there's a reason. And yesterday at practice, Tony Bennett was so passionate. So we talked about the pack line. So look, everybody is down in the stance. They want to get out. There's a little bit of a closeout. You're trying to prevent dribble penetration. Everybody's in help position, right? Your help is a product of the position you have. And watching Tony Bennett practice yesterday, his passion for defense, you know who it reminds me of? Tom Thibodeau of the NBA. Widely recognized as the best defensive mind in any level of basketball. Tony Bennett's passion pours out of him at the practice court.
Really does get into it. Kaminsky with that great range. Can't hit distance. 3 Cavaliers corral the rebound. Brogdon will bring it out. Wisconsin now 1 out of 6 from three-point range. They're one of the best teams in the country at shooting threes. Anderson. Virginia by 2. Seems like more. Anderson short on his jumper. Trayvon Jackson quickly back the other way. Little left-hand flipper. And a foul inside against Wisconsin. It's going to be on Decker. On Friday, one of the most talented freshmen in the country headlines ESPN's Big 12 SEC Challenge. Julius Randle and the Wildcats against Isaiah Austin and the Bears. The Big 12 SEC Challenge Friday, 10 o'clock on ESPN. Also live on Watch ESPN.
Everybody wants to talk about Julius Randle. They don't win the Providence game unless Willie Cauley-Stein is a factor on both ends. What a mistake eraser Willie Cauley-Stein is for John Calipari.
Going to be a foul on Kaminsky. That's his first. Nice job by Toby, who is far more athletic than he looks.
Mike, this young man, I'm not sure he recognizes how good he is. He's 6'11", he's added some strength and some weight, and you can tell right there. I mean, how many back to the basket skilled big guys are there? I have 2 questions for this guy. One, are you going to get a motor to match your talent? Because I don't know that he plays as hard as he can all the time. And 2, does he know how good he is? I'm not sure he does. And this staff will, 1, they're going to make him better. But 2, he's got to understand his potential is extraordinary.
They want him to be more aggressive when he is. He's a joy to watch.
Great footwork, outstanding post moves, good counters. I mean, for a young post guy, those are all good places to start.
And he's very good defensively, and he can run the court. Jackson Toby may have gotten a piece against that. Boy, there's no follow shots, are there?
No, and Wisconsin just play through it. You're struggling to find a bucket, but they're hanging tough, Mike.
It's been 4 minutes since they've scored. Brogdon has one rim out. Nice offensive rebound. The follow by Toby, can't get it down, and finally Kaminsky clears for Wisconsin.
That's great effort, though, by Mike Toby. That's what I'm talking about. Play that hard, that consistently.
Rust looking for Kaminsky.
Good activity.
Shot clock back down to 10 again. Jackson backs out, 6 to shoot. Got a screen, trying to penetrate, had it knocked away and a late foul call.
Wow, that was very good defense. You can see what Virginia's doing. So anytime Kaminsky catches the ball on the post, they are coming with a double. Sometimes they might stunt the double. Sometimes they're going to come with that weak side post and go hard at the double. They might wait till Kaminsky gets a little dribble going. But Wisconsin's got to not let them speed them up.
Akil Mitchell picked up his second foul. He thought he had a steal there. 8:43 to go first half. The lead is 3 for the Cavaliers here in Charlottesville. Every possession a struggle so far for Wisconsin. Gasser, the three-point shooting comes in handy there, and they tied it at 14.
That is one tough character, Josh Gasser. I mean, I love that kid. Love watching him play. He had to miss all of last year. Completely tore up his knee. But that is a guy they'll look to in tough moments.
Worked really hard to get back in shape. He was an All-Big Ten defensive performer. First team All-Big Ten in that regard. So they are overjoyed to have him back. Notice people inside playing defense with their chests and with their body instead of their hands.
Yep,
both of these teams are really good at it now. They have adapted perfectly. Rust couldn't get inside. Jackson, little fadeaway jumper, missed it. Kaminsky with a foul. No. Kaminsky again, good fake. And that's going to be the third foul on Akil Mitchell.
They're deep in the post, and they're going to need it. But Josh Gasser, a guy who in tough moments has got the kind of mental toughness necessary. So find him. He'll make a shot and tie things up.
John Farnham and the coach back here in studio. Maryland, Ohio State. Sean, what are we looking at over on ESPN?
A lot of three-pointers being made by the Buckeyes. 6 of 8 so far, Coach.
The Big Ten ACC Challenge. It's fun. Mike, George, back to you.
14-14, 7:32 to go in the first half from Charlottesville. And Kaminsky at the line. He scored 43 points against North Dakota, the most points by a Division I player this year. And this is the guy who was averaging 4 points a game last season.
Yeah, he played behind 3 guys with a ton of experience. Jared Berggren, Mike Bruzewitz, and Ryan Evans. But you know what? We've come to expect that under Bo Ryan. It almost seems like next man up and everybody improves in his program. And Kaminsky has been a handful for Virginia. He's got 7 boards, Mike, 3 on the offensive end. So he's been problematic for the Cavaliers.
Harris couldn't get free. Parantes. Brogdon got to the baseline, leaned into one, and really got lucky. He was out of control when Dukin committed the personal foul.
I'm telling you, any charge block near the rim, I would say 9.9% of the time is going to be a block, Mike. It's too hard for the officials. They're going to have to look at the offense first and then try to determine if the defense is set. So if there's any movement at all by that defender, it's going to be a block.
Exactly. Toby will come out. Anderson back in for Virginia. Kaminsky stays on the court, so he has a height advantage on everybody. Brogdon, who averages 10.5 points a game, goes to the line, hits that. He has 3. And we're tied again at 15.
And for all intents and purposes, with Sam Decker at the 4 spot, Wisconsin to me might as well be playing 4 guards, because Decker has guard skills.
And Kaminsky spends half of his time out at the top of the circle, so that's 4.5. Kaminsky looking inside. Of course, it's great to have a 7-footer out there because of the vision he has to pass. But he's going to need it all here. They get it to Koenig, and Koenig, a wide open 3, missed everything.
See, Kaminsky's doing the right thing. He's creating passing lanes for himself by using the escape dribble out. Guys don't have to rush that 3-point shot.
Harris wide open. Passed on the 3, little floater down the lane. Kaminsky has the rebound. It's one of Harris's favorite shots. Couldn't get it to go. Koenig quickly back, attacking, gets it out to Gosser. And Gosser walks. Jackson will come back in at the point, and Koenig will sit. These 3 guys that Bo Ryan has normally used off the bench don't get a lot of minutes. We're just trying to give the starters a little breather every once in a while.
I do think their minutes will grow. I mean, Nigel is a guy who's got to play. He's going to grow with experience and repetition, and so is Koenig.
Long jumper by Anderson, missed badly. Anderson only a 33% long-range shooter. Virginia has played withering defense in this first half. Right now, they don't have a lead to show for it.
Well, we talk about the difference. Nice little bounce pass.
Yes, it was.
And there is your young man, who I just think is going to be tremendous.
Nigel.
Yeah, Nigel Hayes. He's athletic. Look at that frame. He's ready. And Jeff Goodman, I mean, this is a Wisconsin team relying heavily on their starters against a Virginia team that is playing withering defense. Expound upon that starting lineup usage.
Parantes tries the same thing at the other end and misfires. A Wisconsin turnover. Jackson, nice crossover dribble to get open, missed the shot. Nigel's right there again and lost it out of bounds. He's 6'7", 250. You're not going to move him out of the post very often. Jeff, what about Nigel?
Now, Nigel Hayes was a huge recruit for Bo Ryan. Beat out Ohio State. The family, huge Buckeyes fans. And this was a kid that comes in, and you can tell he gives you something different than they already have down low. He gives you an athletic, physical presence.
Boy, he does that, and that'll make those Ohio State-Wisconsin games a little more interesting. As Jackson hits the jump shot, he has 4, and Wisconsin with a 4-point margin.
So for all of their struggles offensively, they have managed to get the lead. See, to me, that shows a little mental toughness, right? Playing through all those missed shots.
Harris with the runner, no. Offensive rebound, Cavaliers, but Atkins can't hold it. Virginia just can't find the bottom of the hoop. And sometimes this is the area of the game where you want Harris to take over. He is your all-ACC player. And the coaching staff said, you know, there's that fine line between dominating a game and being a team player, but they want him to be more aggressive.
Right. This is a guy who's unselfish by nature. He is a team guy. He's about the program. And it's a fine line for a player, right? You don't want to be so aggressive that you're taking poor shots. But when they won at the Kohl Center, I had said at the start of the game, he had to make shots early, and he did. These are the moments his guys need to draw from him making shots.
Rust with 7 on the shot clock. Caught up at the top of the lane. Gives it up to Jackson. 2 to shoot. And Jackson's going to have to fire from way outside. Can't hit it. Virginia hasn't had a field goal in almost 10 minutes. And they're down by 4 to the Badgers.
Jonathan Coach, we're back here in studio. Coming up on the Land Rover halftime report, Bruce Pearl, Sean Farnham chomping at the bit to talk about Ohio State. The Buckeyes hosting Maryland as the Big Ten ACC Challenge continues. And how about this one? At 9 o'clock Eastern tonight on ESPN, we preview North Carolina and #1 Michigan State. We'll see you at the half. Mike Doris, back to you.
Thank you very much. We only have 3:34 here to go in the first half, Jonathan. And it's a 4-point Wisconsin lead. Virginia scoreless, working on a 10-minute streak right now. So you got to give some credit to that Wisconsin defense.
Exactly. Took the words right out of my mouth. Remember, I said they value similar things. Wow, they're going to get a hold on Gosser. I thought he did a pretty good job checking out Joe Harris, and he's visibly frustrated. And this is a Wisconsin team that relies on its guards to contribute to the backboards. Gosser, Bruss, they all do a very good job of helping the post guys from Wisconsin boarding.
Tony Bennett going very deep tonight, and his roster gets Evan Nolte, the sophomore from Milton, Georgia, averages 3.5 points a game into the contest. And there is Tony Bennett, who was an assistant coach at Wisconsin at one time in his career, the last year under Bo Ryan. And they have such great love and respect for each other. And there is Toby showing you he's got some range.
Skilled, 6'11" and skilled.
Koenig double teamed outside, ball kicked out of bounds.
So when I say they're similar, Mike, both programs value quality defense without fouling. They don't put their opponents on the line. They both value the basketball, both very low turnover teams. They want to control the pace. They want to contest shots, rebound the basketball. I mean, simple ideals, but you got to play really hard for both guys defensively. Nice job. And Kaminsky is a handful. That's his 9th rebound, his 4th offensive.
21-17, Kaminsky was 7. He's been the difference. Harris has had some good looks, hasn't been able to hit them. Ferrantes hasn't been able to penetrate very well. .13 on the shot clock. Ferrantes for 3. Not known as a scorer, only 2 points a game, only 27% from long range, but he has 6 in the first half here. Remember, Wisconsin came into this game averaging almost 77 points a game, the best in 20 years under Bo Ryan. Right now they have 21 with 2 minutes to go in the half. Kaminsky can shoot from out there and shoot well. Cavaliers with a chance to regain the lead. Anderson, good drive, scoops it over Kaminsky, and the rebound goes to Brust. First time in the open court tonight for Wisconsin. They can't get anything out of it. Now they go inside, no bucket. Halfway down for Decker and came back out.
I'm not sure a year ago he would have had the strength or the lower body balance to even give that shot an opportunity for the N1. This guy is a terrific basketball player, folks, and loves the game. But look at added 15 pounds to that frame. That allows you to play through contact a little bit better.
Hits the first. ESPN2's college basketball coverage features a pair of top teams on Saturday. First at 3:15, the Kansas Jayhawks go to Colorado. Then at 5:15, the Arizona Wildcats host UNLV. College basketball Saturday at 3:15 and 5:15 on ESPN2.
What do you notice about these two teams? They don't get out in pressure. They're meeting you at the three-point line, right? They're going to make you make mistakes.
Very sound philosophies and taught very, very well by both. Harris wants the ball. Tough runner, Kaminsky with a block. Toby puts it up with the left hand. No, Cavaliers crashing the boards And it looked like Harris will commit the personal foul.
That is a typical Josh Gosser play. He got down in a stance. He gets his chest up and without fouling. And look who comes over and helps him, his teammate, Frank Kaminsky. Look at that. Individual defense prohibiting the triple drive and then get a little assistance from your teammates. That is beautifully done, Josh Gosser. And then go ahead and board it for good measure and put yourself at the free throw line.
Gosser with 3 points, make it 4. Cavaliers getting multiple opportunities on several possessions, but Wisconsin just keeps fighting till they get the ball back.
And you don't know who to check because their shot distribution is very even. Decker is their leading scorer. He's only taking 11 shots a game.
Both teams shooting in the low 30s right now. Wisconsin with its biggest lead, 25-20. Toby caught up underneath. Bad angle to shoot from. He felt forced. And Bo Ryan wants timeout with 30 seconds left to go in the half. He wants to talk about what could be the final possession with his club already up by 5. Welcome back to the Big Ten ACC Challenge presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Mike Patrick, Doris Burke, Jeff Goodman, glad you could join us tonight from Charlottesville. It's been a low-scoring, intense defensive battle so far. We expected nothing less. Trayvon Jackson. This is Decker. Shot clock and the game clock almost even. Jackson. That looked like it was off his own foot, and it is. Mike Eads with a great call. I think he wanted to make up in his own mind what happened before he blew the whistle.
Bo Ryan is asking him to check with the other official. See, it didn't look like Parantes touched it on that replay, right?
I couldn't tell. I thought it went off his foot, but I didn't see the beginning of the
That's
replay.
what I thought. And we get the benefit of that. But you're right. You know, Mike Eads is sort of processing it, and he's explaining. I think exactly, you're exactly right on this one.
Well, sometimes it doesn't click in for the, okay, he did this and he, okay. ACC came into tonight with a 4-2 lead on the Big Ten. You need 7 to clinch. The ACC won the first 10, but then since then the Big Ten has won 3. They tied 1. Any surprises yesterday, do you think?
Georgia Tech pulled out a tough one at home. You know, they were down. Syracuse and Pitt win. Syracuse looked terrific. I think Duke, obviously, much better defense. Their defense has started to become very porous, and I think they have the potential to be a very good defensive team. And then the ACC leading the challenge first time since 08. I got to believe Mike Krzyzewski did nothing but emphasize defense. That's a team with a wealth of potential on the offensive end, Duke, but I think they have the athleticism necessary to be very good defensively. I'm not sure why it's not translated.
A runner by Parantes at the end. And Virginia really throttled by Wisconsin's defense in the last 10-12 minutes of this first half, and they are down. Joe Harris, almost a non-factor, Doris.
Yeah, and in the past that would have been non-starter. Virginia wouldn't be able to recover. They've got enough around him, but he's got to start to produce.
Let's go to Jeff. Jeff?
Mo, you're up 5 points here at the half. How do you like the pace of the game so far?
Well, the pace has been pretty quick. The problem is trying to get shots that are open. I don't know why those other guys are guarding this so hard, but Tony, you know, they're doing a great job. We think we're playing some D. Good looks are hard to find.
Yeah, really good defensive effort. Aggressiveness of your team. You happy with the way they've come out?
Oh, I like how hard they're playing. Yeah, you know, I'd like some different results on some of those possessions, but I mean, who wouldn't? At least the guys are working. They're trying to settle in. to getting the kind of looks that we feel a little more comfortable with. And I know Virginia's trying to do the same thing. So it's just a toe-to-toe game, and it's going to be one of those every possession here in the second half, I'm sure.
Thanks, Bo.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Coach, and thank you, Jeff. Our halftime score, 25-20, number 8 with a 5-point lead. Welcome back to the Big Ten ACC Challenge, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, part of Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research on ESPN, as we continue our commitment to the V Foundation and Jim Valvano's dream to defeat cancer. We're at the half, 25-20, Wisconsin over Virginia. Hard fought, well played on defense. What do you think the difference was in the first half, Doris?
Well, for Wisconsin, Frank Kaminsky played terrific basketball. He was the one option offensively that seemed to work for this team. This is something he wouldn't do a year ago. And this is a 7-footer who, when he posts hard, you've got to deal with him. I thought he was terrific. His activity level, his ability to move his feet. We talked about Mike Tobey being skilled. Frank Kaminsky is skilled. And you look at Virginia's shot chart, every single basket they made but one came from inside the paint. Mike, this is a pretty good Virginia shooting team.
Yes, it is. And Wisconsin didn't have much luck from outside, and they shoot 43.5% as a team from three-point range. So the strengths of neither teams offensively are showing up, and you have to credit that, I guess, to the defense.
There's no question it's a credit to the defense. One thing, I wonder if Bo Ryan talked to Trayvon Jackson at all, because you've got guys around him and Gasser and Brust who are pretty good shooters. Does he want Jackson taking all of those shots? He was 2 for 7. But at times it was like Jackson felt like he had to create something because nothing else offensively was happening.
And a couple of times I think he had to force shots because they were down at the end of the shot clock. Harris comes out, gets a good look, and just barely nicked the rim on the way by with a long three. Harris 1 out of 7. Virginia can't win if Joe Harris doesn't step up his score.
Yeah, agreed. And they're not as reliant on him, but there are moments where I think he's going to have to assert himself and be that guy.
Kaminsky will try a three off target. Brogdon clears. Brogdon very aggressive when he's out there. This is Parantes. Brogdon. Nice play by Kaminsky. Anticipated the pass, got one hand on it, actually tipped it up to himself. Decker, he's been very quiet, hasn't he? Jackson. I think you can only give so much credit to defense. They've been cold too.
Yeah.
Brogdon with a left hand. No! Had a great look. Kaminsky may have influenced the shot.
No, that last shot opportunity by Jack, that's a wide open shot.
Yeah.
You got to make those.
Kaminsky just glides in, then missed it. Holy cow.
Got to finish that play. I mean, he does all the hard work. His footwork was terrific.
Parantes with a burst, and it's off of the freshman. Let's check in with Jeff Goodman. Jeff?
Tony Bennett obviously pleased with the defense. He's holding a Wisconsin team that normally shoots 44% from 3, 2 of 10. But the offense, a different story. He wants his team to get it inside, try to take advantage of that mismatch that he's got down low.
Jeff, right now, just the ability to make any shot would come in handy for either club. Decker, too strong. Nice slashing rebound to Jackson. Just cut through the Virginia defense in a lane and picked it off. Both teams shooting under 30% for the game. Kaminsky trying to back in. Double teamed at the baseline. Jackson, one-on-one. Just sort of flips the ball out of his hand. Doesn't really shoot. And then a foul underneath on Kaminsky going for the rebound. Number 3, Kentucky. Number 20, Baylor. Square off Friday. Some of the most talented young players in the country. It's the SEC against the Big 12. The challenge, part of Journey to the Tourney, Friday at 10 o'clock on ESPN. Also live on Watch ESPN. Kaminsky will come out after picking up his second personal foul. He has 7 points and 9 rebounds in the first half. Not a bad performance by the 7-footer, who spends half of his time under the bucket and half at the top of the circle. Very effective at both, by the way.
No question about it.
Parantes gives it up to Adkins. Now this is Harris. Well, Wisconsin's playing some tough defense as well. Tough fadeaway jump shot from the baseline by Parantes.
Both these teams would get down in a stance and do a good job individually.
Decker with a runner. Slash to the bucket, the biggest lead of the night for the Badgers. The number 8 team in the country, up by 7.
Get that guy out in the open floor and watch good things happen. That's 6'8", 220 pounds, a very good athlete and outstanding basketball player.
That was the first bucket, 3 minutes and 40 seconds in the second half.
Brutal.
How long will it be till we get another one?
Yeah, let's count the time.
Brust. Well, not long. Brust, who is just outside of the top 10 career three-point shooters for Wisconsin, makes it a 30-20 lead. Wisconsin shutting out UVA in the second half.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lexus. The Lexus December to Remember sales event is here, now through January 2nd. And Wendy's, proud sponsor of the 2014 John R. Wooden Men's Player of the Year Award.
Wisconsin by 10 in Charlottesville, Doris.
Anytime you don't have to play in a half court against either one of these two teams, it's a good thing. So a very good defensive stand, contested shot, and look at this. Sam Decker leaks out. He's terrific in the open floor, and you don't have to try to execute against a team that wants to grind you down.
Virginia desperate for some offense. Harris, nice pass to Adkins, missed the shot but draws the foul. Coming up, Jim Valvano's message: don't give up, don't ever get up. Hits home with Wisconsin head coach Bo Ryan. When we come back, he'll talk about it.
I had Jimmy V for a counselor in 1964 in the summer at a basketball camp. Pocono Mountain basketball camp, and I remember Jimmy's tenacity, his toughness, his never-ending energy, and he was a guy that was really full of life. And when he was stricken, I know that had an impact on an awful lot of people, with yours truly being one of them.
Help us beat cancer. The V Foundation awards 100% of direct cash foundation donations to fund cancer research. Operating expenses are paid for by an endowment fund. Log on to www.jimmyv.org or call 1-800-4JIMMY-V to donate.
Coach Ryan puts his money where his mouth is, because the last couple of years he's done a fundraiser at the university where for every student that shows up at the Kohl Center, he pays $1. If they make a free throw, it's $10. They make a half-court shot, it's $1,000. $600,000 later, Coach Bo Ryan. Well done.
Well done indeed. Atkins misses the front end of a 1-on-1. He has been brutal at the free throw line this year so far. That's the first point for Virginia in the first half. In the second half, we played almost 4.5 minutes. Virginia trying to throttle up the pressure on defense even a little more. Ten to shoot for Jackson. Down the gut. Kicks it back. Decker. Nice head fake. Puts it up with the left hand under pressure and misses. Decker wanted a foul. Didn't get it. Harris. Boy, he's got to get on track.
Josh Gosser's done a tremendous job.
Gill with a miss. How many point-blank shots can Virginia miss? They've had things roll over the rim all night long. Jackson again looking inside to Kaminsky.
Boy, he doesn't panic. He just takes that little escape dribble. That trap has been a non-factor, really.
They've been forced into single digits on the shot clock nearly half their possessions tonight. Brust with 3 to shoot. Kaminsky, good head fake. Brust with 1 on the clock and bricked it. That's tough when your teammate gives you the ball. 2 seconds on the shot clock. You got to fire whether you're ready or not.
No question.
Harris. No, they just won't fall for the all-ACC guard tonight. Brust. Nice drive. His shot won't go. Kaminsky is there for the rebound, and credit that to Decker. Decker just hustled his fanny off, got down there, kept it alive, and it went right in Kaminsky's hands.
No question, and that's the transition that you're becoming accustomed to. This is a Wisconsin team that in the first 7 seconds, so you give them an opportunity. They're going to get after it. And Brust put some pressure on Virginia. Decker was willing to run. And this is what ensues. You're exactly right. A hard drive through multiple defenders. Decker's hustle creates a loose ball opportunity, and Frank Kaminsky is right there. That is why, regardless of what it looks like in transition, everybody runs with the guy with the ball.
You bet. Otherwise, that's an easy rebound to Virginia. He just kept the play alive. When you do that, sometimes good things happen. Wisconsin by 11. Kaminsky again. Toby cuts him off. Battle of a couple of pretty good big men in there. Kaminsky trying to get by Toby. And Toby with an arm bar in the middle of the back. And that's one of the points of emphasis this year. If you stick out that arm the way big men had been taught to do for years, that is now almost an automatic foul if an official sees it.
Well, no question. And why he had to use that arm bar, he did not close out great. He closed out too hard. You've got to be a little bit more disciplined. Easy for me to say. I'm not 6'11".
No, but if you closed out on somebody your side, it's the same principle.
Right. Short, choppy steps when you close out. Hard, but under control.
Wisconsin making a statement here on the road in Charlottesville in front of a big crowd. And a team that's lost only 1 game this year, that was to Virginia Commonwealth in a real battle. VCU's so athletic. There's going to be a holding call on Dukin. That's 2 on Dukin. And Virginia will get Evan Nolte back in the game.
Mike, we can point to a lot of individual matchups, but to me, as Joe Harris goes out, I think Wisconsin's got to give a ton of credit to Josh Gosser. And what happens? Joe goes out, so Bo automatically says, well, you know what? I can take my toughest defender and give him a breather now.
That's right.
That's been a heck of a matchup to watch.
And Bo's in the driver's seat as far as substitution pattern because he's up by 11. He can rest people that he normally wouldn't rest.
I love Gosser. I like his toughness, I like his competitive spirit, and I like his game.
Nolte, good 3-point shooter, too strong on that one. They just won't fall for the Cavaliers tonight. Koenig back the other way. 1 out of 7 from long range for Virginia. They're not a great 3-point shooting team, but they're not 1 out of 7 either. Kaminsky screens for Jackson. That help defense just cuts him off. Jackson can't find space to drive. Now he gets it down the lane, puts it up in the left hand.
That is a big-time shot because Malcolm Brogdon, you said it earlier, he's built like an outside linebacker. He's got great strength. For Trayvon Jackson to fight him off like that, pretty good stuff.
Kept trying to get inside, kept trying, finally got it. The lead has grown to 13. Anderson looking inside for Toby, but Kaminsky doing a pretty good job on him. Now Toby gets it. He's got that old-fashioned running hook shot.
What did Jeff Goodman say? Jeff Goodman said that Tony Bennett said, let's go in the paint. And you can see why. Mike Toby, that's a nice-looking sweeping hook.
Doris, that was their first field goal of the half.
Wow.
The first.
I'm still enjoying it, Mike.
So are they. And the lead's only 11, even though they've made only one field goal. Long rebound comes right back to Brust. Missed everything, so the shot clock doesn't recycle, but Brust buries the jumper. He has 6, and it's 37-23.
Brust can shoot it now, and he can shoot it from several steps beyond the arc.
Now has 161 career three-point shots, on the verge of breaking into the top 10 all time. Brogdon. Crowd wanted a foul away from the ball as Mitchell was trying to get position. Now Brogdon kicks it out to Mitchell. He chooses to drive. Missed a shot again. Toby fighting for the rebound. Knocked out of bounds. It's out to Virginia. Another shot that just rolls across the iron and drops harmlessly out of bounds.
And Wisconsin's starting to get some separation. They came in with an agenda. Nice little drive by Jackson. And then Brust the 3, and they got breathing room.
The coach back here in studio, the Big Ten ACC Challenge over on ESPNU, Northwestern, NC State. That's Ralston Turner for 3 right now. The Wolfpack up 31-20 at the break. And Ohio State at home, they are rolling over on ESPN over Maryland 52-36. A little over 12 minutes to go in that one. Back to you guys.
All right, Jonathan, Keel Mitchell with a runner and a much-needed basket for Virginia. They're down by 12. Mitchell has 4. My question to you, Doris, is Virginia have anything else besides Joe Harris that can get him back in this game, because he's only hit 1 out of 8 shots?
Yeah, and that goes to the matchup with Josh Gosser. Both of those guys are back in. Well, I think obviously, at least in the last couple of possessions, Virginia has had an intention and delivered the ball to the post. Can they string together multiple stops here and continue to get that score?
Nigel Hayes rejected by Toby. Great timing on the block. Brogdon down the lane, draws the foul. Tony Bennett talked yesterday about his team being aggressive, and certainly they'll need to be just that down the stretch here.
No question about it. And no one on his team takes more than 7 shots a game. No one. That's a really low number. Joe Harris, you mentioned it, first team ACC, takes 7.5 shots a game. Brogdon and he lead the way at 7 each.
Brogdon 2 out of 3 from the line, 4 points. Averages almost 11 a game. Cavaliers have been a poor free throw shooting team this year, but Brogdon just knocked down 2. The lead is cut to 10. The crowd's on its feet. Jackson, nice move to get free, little hesitation. Got it to Decker, he's double teamed. Knocked away and stolen by Brogdon. Harris comes up with it. Knocked away to Toby. Virginia got a break there. The ball was loose a couple of times. Stayed with the Cavaliers. Crowd hoping to become a factor. Trayvon Jackson from Westerville, Ohio. 4.5 assists a game. Kaminsky for 3. Too strong. Decker kept it alive, but Virginia's going to come out with it. And boy, is the intensity picked up.
So multiple stops now by Virginia. Can they score?
Harris slashes down the lane, some contact, no whistle. Decker with a rebound. Jackson into the corner, Brust. Harris, tough pass underneath, and another foul.
They're going to say this is a shot attempt or a pass attempt?
I think it's on a shot.
This crowd doing everything they can.
Aren't they? And Anderson just gave it the old Duke let's go defense, pound the floor a bit. the crowd responded to that.
Now, one of the key matchups, and this has been a struggle, and this is why Virginia is down. The Josh Gosser defensive impact. Watch how hard he's playing. Every time Joe comes off the screen, it's a lock and trail by Josh Gosser. Nothing easy. So hand goes up immediately in contest. You call that tracing the ball. He has not gotten any space to breathe. The one uncontested look he had, he missed, and we're unaccustomed to seeing that. But Gosser has completely disrupted this guy. And look at this. Last 3 games, he couldn't miss. Remember I said in the first half he was 11 for 12?
That's
now
right.
he can't find a bucket.
On the season, he came in shooting 55%. One of the notes I had on him at the start of the year from last season, unselfish to a fault.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're the best player, you have to realize I'm the best player and I'm the only one who can get this done. 1 out of 2 from the line. Loose ball, and Harris dives for the bucket jump ball situation. Harris thought he had a timeout. He clearly had possession, but the officials say no, and the possession arrow will give it to Wisconsin.
Boy, we usually see the official grant that timeout, and Tony Bennett was pleading the case as well.
It has gotten very physical in the last 3 or 4 minutes. Both teams stepping it up. Jackson being guarded by Parantes. There's the double team. Jackson can't penetrate. They try to clear the lane as much as they can for him. Decker, 10 on the shot clock. Decker wants to take over. The 3 won't go. Rebound to Brogdon. Virginia can cut it even further. It's 37-30. Toby kept it alive, but the rebound to Kaminsky.
Well, he's played a terrific game, Mike Toby's played hard. He's been active. He's got to be careful not to overhelp off Kaminsky.
Brust was wide open, passed on the shot. Decker wants it. Brust, nice drive.
Tell you, they've got a couple of tough characters in Brust and Gosser. That is a hard driver right there, Matt Brust.
Brust has 8, the lead back to 9 points. Toby against Kaminsky. Little fadeaway jumper. Good defense by Kaminsky, and Toby missed everything. Clock becoming a factor. 6:25 to go. Gosser buries one. He's another 45% long-range shooter. And it's 42-30. So Virginia makes a run. They get within 7, but Wisconsin has the answer.
You want to talk about a guy who can affect winning in multiple ways. You are talking about Josh Gosser. He has drawn the assignment of guarding the best guy. And I said it earlier, Mike, when they need a basket, and they need a moment, a guy to deliver, you were just talking about this on the other side of your Joe Harris. This is one of the guys you can turn to. You get the sense Decker wants to be that guy, but he's figuring out how to be that guy.
Right.
Gosser, he knows how to do it.
That's right. Jeff, you have more?
Josh Gosser, he was supposed to be their leader, their point guard, their best perimeter defender. A year ago, he goes down with that devastating injury right after he's anointed the starting point guard. He tears his ACL, his LCL, and his meniscus. He told me earlier today he doesn't know until the day of the game how he's going to feel. He obviously looks pretty good defensively today, guarding Joe Harris.
And Mr. Goodman, it is no surprise that Tony Bennett recruited Josh Gosser really hard. Both of these coaches value what Josh Gosser brings to the table.
A lot of similarities between the players they have on both ends of this court, that's for sure. 6 minutes to go in this game. Virginia needs another run like the last one to make this a contest. Anderson, tough off-balance shot, but he'll draw the foul. Gosser picks up the personal, his second. 5:55 to go.
The coach back here in studio. Doubleheaders continue at the top of the hour here on ESPN2. How about Olivier Hanlon? Love the name. Third in the ACC in scoring 22 points per. He'll take on Purdue, top of the hour. And the big one over on ESPN, career high 32 against Louisville earlier this year. What will Marcus Page do when he and the North Carolina Tar Heels take on the #1 team in the country? That's coming up top of the hour as well. Guys, back to you.
And more of what's coming up on Friday. One of the most talented freshmen in the country headlines ESPN's Big 12 SEC Challenge. Julius Randle and the Wildcats square off against the Bears. The Big 12 SEC Challenge Friday at 10 on ESPN. Anderson with his first point of the night. Virginia 8 out of 12 from the line, 66.7%. The Cavaliers have hit only 27% of their field goals tonight. Tried to double team Jackson, but that leaves Nigel Hayes open on the wing. Jackson, a little fadeaway jumper from the baseline. Decker with a rebound, back to Jackson, and he'll bring it back outside. They'll work that shot clock.
I gotta believe that's the kind of shot that Trayvon Jackson might hear about in a film session with Bo Ryan. 16 seconds on the clock. You know, step back jumper from the baseline. I don't think so.
Well, good job defense on Decker by Akeel Mitchell. Shot clock approaches 10 again. Jackson does a great job of keeping that drive alive. Got it to Decker, and Decker is fouled by Anthony Gill. Nothing good happens to you when you pick up your dribble as a point guard.
Very rarely. His ability to do this, just, you know, hold his dribble, get in the lane, a little backdoor cut. The one thing Decker's done is his activity has been really good. Decker has made himself an option when Jackson has gotten himself in trouble.
The sophomore from Sheboygan, Decker, with 6 points, 4 out of 5 from the line. He averages 14.8 points a game. He's on all the lists. Dave Smith and Wooden Player of the Year. Missed them both.
Still young, though. Still a young mind. Plenty of room for growth from Sam Decker.
Virginia's still within hailing distance, but that's only if they can make some shots.
It just feels like everything has been too hard offensively.
Brogdon, an off-balance shot, just sort of tossed it up as he went into the lane, and it results in another Wisconsin possession. That wasn't the shot I was thinking about, or Tony Bennett, I'm sure. Hayes, nice reverse, missed the shot. Decker kept it alive. Decker again and draws the foul.
And that gets a tremendous reaction from Bo Ryan, because they have been after Sam Decker to be more aggressive rebounding the basketball. He's got the athleticism. It's about pursuing it, getting out of your area, and as soon as he got that board into the free throw line, really good reaction from Bo.
The last 10 minutes, you can tell his intensity individually has picked up.
Yes.
7 points on the night. Only hit 1 out of 3 free throws, though, in that span, and is 5 out of 8 for the night.
Let's see if they can get Joe Harris open here.
Harris, good drive, has to kick it back out, saved by Brogdon. Gill. Hayes with a reach over as Gill had it knocked out of his hand. 3 fouls on Hayes. Virginia ball when we come back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's.
Jameis Winston and the #1 Seminoles look to wrap up a dominant regular season and secure their spot in a national championship game with a victory in the Dr. Pepper ACC Championship. Jamison Crowder and the #12 Blue Devils aim to shock the world and upset #1. The Dr. Pepper ACC Championship, Duke against Florida State, Saturday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. And David Cutcliffe and Jimbo Fisher have to be 1-2, not necessarily in that order, for the ACC Coach of the Year, although Cutcliffe did virtually the impossible.
Yes. Congratulations to him on what an outstanding season. People are talking about football at Duke in December.
Yes.
But every talk show I listen to, sports talk show, doesn't give a ton. There's the reaction. They don't give him a shot in this game. Mike, you cover college football.
No, I don't either.
Can they win?
No, there's being good, and then there's playing great. Florida State's great.
Yeah. Florida State's complete, right?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They have no singular weakness, and they look like the Bobby Bowden teams of 25 years ago. They look like they could take on anybody. That does not diminish, however, what Duke has done and the brilliant coaching job that Cutcliffe has done, or those kids, how hard they have played. Another air ball, this time from Trayvon Jackson. Virginia's still in it. They're only down by 9. We keep saying that, but they don't seem to come much closer because of Wisconsin's defense and their poor shot selection. Perantes will draw the foul. Nice drive. Brust committed the foul.
It's exactly what you just said. It's a combination of both. And sometimes when you have been disrupted the way Wisconsin has disrupted Virginia, all of a sudden you're unsure of what a good shot is. So if there is the momentary vision toward the rim, your tendency is to shoot it quick because it might be it might be the best one I get.
That's right. It may not be a good shot, but it might be the best look I get. Perantes 2 for 2 from the line, 7 points. Once again, Virginia has cut it to 7. This is as close as they've been. Jackson against Anderson. The clock is Wisconsin's friend. 3:02 go in the game. Brust. Quick shot. Kaminsky with a rebound, stolen by Harris. 1-on-2. Harris will go in. That's an offensive foul.
Big surprise, Josh Gosser.
Gosser clearly had position and was dead still when Harris hit him.
And folks, in this day and age with the new rules, you better be in position and set because the number of charges is going to go way down. How about that play? Great hustle and retreat and changing ends by Josh Gosser.
Anderson commits a personal foul at the 2:44 mark. That would have cut it to 5 points.
Been a little bit of game pressure now on Wisconsin. Isn't it interesting? The matchup is Justin Anderson on Trayvon Jackson. You are guarding him with size and athleticism, and that's a silly reach foul.
That's his 3rd.
Teams what now? Are they just trying to maybe commit a couple in case they need the free throw line?
Trying to get to the 1-and-1.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Let's see, does he do it again here?
This will put him in the 1-and-1. And it's going to be on Harris, his 2nd.
I don't know, Tony Bennett sort of waved his hand, almost looked in very minor disgust of that call.
Don't know why he was trying to get there. It may have been something besides the call that bothered him.
Yeah.
Because he's got to get to the 1-and-1 and play that game. Force Wisconsin to the line. Because there's only 2.5 minutes to go in the game. That free throw spins out. 8-point lead, 2:25 and counting. Harris. Nice move down the lane, goes with the left hand. Offensive rebound, blocked by Kaminsky. Out of bounds to Virginia. Boy, Kaminsky's come up with some big plays.
Everybody in the red jerseys feels like this should be their basketball. Ooh, I thought he got away with a walk.
Mitchell, point blank looks under pressure. They've missed almost all of them. Gosser gives it up to Jackson. They'll play a 3-guard outside, little weave with Kaminsky. Virginia's going to play defense this possession and not foul. Jackson, nice crossover down the lane, has it rejected, however. Gill is fouled, and really a silly foul by Gosser. That's his third. He says, I didn't do it, but it was right in the middle of open court and a fast break opportunity.
I love what Virginia has done, putting Anderson on Trayvon Jackson. It gives him some length, the athleticism. So even if he gets by, because the most aggressive guy offensively for Wisconsin has been Trayvon Jackson. How about that block? It's been a nice little wrinkle defensively, but this is, they just can't put points on the board.
Gill is 2 for 2 from the line, making 3 for 3 and 5 points. Virginia's the team shooting only 60% from the free throw line. 60%. They've only topped the 70% mark in 2 of their 8 games. That's brutal. Tonight, much better.
Only a 2-possession game.
Yes, it is.
So now we're going to get a timeout.
But 2-possession game means Virginia's got to hit those shots, and they haven't shown they can do that under Wisconsin's defensive pressure. Even when Virginia's gotten penetration, there's always somebody in that guy's face.
That's exactly right. They have been met at the rim, and Wisconsin's backcourt. Think about Frank Kaminsky, what he did offensively in the first half. Well, all of a sudden in the second half, Brust has got all 8 of his points in the second half. He's got tremendous range. How about that hard driving right-handed attack of the rim? And Gosser, who's been sensational and has affected winning in multiple ways. That was the big 3 that gave him a 12-point advantage at one point.
Doris, these numbers will make defensive coaches very happy.
Yeah.
Virginia has held Wisconsin to 29% shooting from the floor, but Wisconsin has held Virginia to 25% shooting from the floor.
Bo Ryan trying to get win number 300 at Wisconsin. He would join a pretty good list of names in the Big Ten, huh? How about that? Bob Knight at the top, Gene Katie, Tom Izzo, Lou Henson, and then a little bit older, Ward, Branch, Judd, and Harry.
He would be only the 9th coach with 300 wins.
So he may have been disgusted, Tony, at the foul call. I don't know that he was trying to get there. You and I are debating, was he trying to get there? Now you can dig in defensively, make your stand.
Jackson, a tough guy to take it from.
They switch the matchups now. Anderson goes to Decker, Brogdon on Jackson.
Shot clock at 15, game clock 1:20. Jackson always with his head up trying to penetrate. Goes baseline, there's going to be a foul with 6 seconds left to go. The foul on Brogdon.
Right, these are the new rules. So let's see what happens. He's down in a stance.
That's a tough call.
It is, and a year ago, that's not even a decision for the official.
If anything, Jackson was the one who put his hand out.
Correct.
Hits the free throw.
And that's a killer because you had guarded, you had just about closed him out at the shot clock.
One out of 2 from the line. 7-point lead.
Got to be hyper. Yeah, got to be hyper efficient here.
Brogdon for 3, in and out. Thought he had it.
He had to take that look, Mike.
Sure. Virginia 1 out of 10 from three-point range tonight. Brogdon, a good shooter from long range with limited opportunities this year. He'd only taken 23 in the first 8 games, but he thought that was down. I'm really impressed with Wisconsin.
Me too.
I mean, it's tough to win on the road, especially when you're playing against a good team and a big crowd.
Think about how hard it was for either team to score. Both teams have long droughts. To hang tough mentally, to not have it impact your intensity on the defensive end. I thought Wisconsin showed a lot of toughness. They came here with an agenda. They were upset that at the Kohl Center a year ago, Joe Harris, Akeel Mitchell, a guy who steps out, they were physically and mentally tougher a year ago, and it didn't sit well with the guys in red.
Well, they remembered it well. Perantes almost lost it. Nolte at the baseline. There's Kaminsky again. And a foul on Harris. Kaminsky has shown up at the right place at the right time most of the night, hasn't he?
He has met them at the rim. If anyone's gotten by his guys, he has been there to challenge it.
And he was so aggressive offensively in the first half. Just had a great game. This is going to be a team to deal with. They're going to go to 9-0. They're already ranked 8th in the country. I know they were picked 4th in the Big Ten, but it's hard to imagine 3 teams better than these guys in one conference.
Agreed. And here's the thing about Wisconsin. They've played a pretty good schedule. They've beaten Florida. They've beaten St. Louis. You've beaten West Virginia. Have they beaten a great team? Probably not. But have they beaten very good teams? No question about it.
Yeah, they've been tested. There's no doubt. Virginia running out of time. Anderson has to fire too strong. And a good job of keeping Harris to get from getting to the rebound. All they were trying to do was screen him off. I tell you, everybody in a Cardinal white uniform is a tough kid. They play hard.
No question. Both teams played incredibly hard. I'll tell you, play it again. Let these two play next year. Let me call it. Because somebody's looking at that going, I don't want to call a 38-point game. It was great.
Hey, let them play again now. We'll do another one. Give them a 20-minute rest. We'll have a doubleheader. This will be win number 300 for Bo Ryan at Wisconsin in his 13th year. The 9th coach ever to win 300 games in one Big Ten school. Congratulations to Bo Ryan, a real class act. And he gets congratulations from an equally class act in Tony Bennett, although he loses this one 48-38. So where do we stand in the challenge? The Big Ten closes it to 1 game. You need 7 to win. We've had 3 Big Ten victories in the tie in the last 4 years. Got to be impressed by Wisconsin.
No question about it. On the road, this crowd at points tonight was electric. They didn't have their offense, which has been such a big part of their win. They grind it out on the road. Gotta love it. Absolutely gotta love it if you're Bo Ryan.
And certainly they gave Virginia all the trouble it could possibly ask for defensively. There were no free opportunities. I do not remember a single fast break point in this ball game. I mean, there were no freebies.
How many uncontested looks did we see? Maybe the transition bucket by Decker, where he got a foot and a half in front of people. Unbelievable.
That was about it.
That was it.
All right, let's go to Jeff Goodman.
Bo, congrats on the win. 48-38. You had said your defense was behind your offense. Tonight it looked the opposite. What do you think of your defense?
I thought our defense did a great job of taking away some things that they do so well. You know, percentages are what they are for a reason. They were coming in so hot. I kept thinking maybe they'll have a cold spell against somebody. Maybe it'll be us. Because I thought they got some good looks, but both of us struggled, I think, because of how tough it was to get our feet set to be in a good shooting position like you are in practice. And I think we did that to each other.
Congrats on your 300th win, Bo, at Wisconsin.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bo Ryan. Thank you, Jeff. The final score 48-38. A real grinder here in Charlottesville tonight. Now we'll send you back to the studio. Jonathan Coachman, Sean Farnham, and Bruce Pearl. Gentlemen.
All right, Mike.